because the Republican Party is doing racist things right now. And just because you don't think yourself a racist doesn't mean you're not one. If you are a member of a group of people that are terrorizing minorities, that makes you racist adjacent. If you're a member or donate to a charity that terrorizes and views gay people as less than human, that makes you homophobic. And it makes you morally responsible for every LGBTQIA plus individual who encounters whatever that money is used for that you've donated or voted for. And the idea of us versus them is as fascist and Nazi as possible. Because when you don't see your adversaries as human beings with dignity, who may or may not be protesting or have a difference of opinion due to them not being a racist, sexist, raging homophobe, just because someone has a difference of opinion doesn't make them the enemy. I would say that bad people view political and religious adversaries as evil. That's a pretty good inclination that they are evil. At least the people who are being called racist. And I don't think we should throw out terms without making sure that the people we're calling a racist or a homophobe actually fits the Webster Dictionary or the social definition of what they are. And yes, if you do support Trump and his racist ideologies, that makes you a racist. You don't have to wear a swastika to be a racist. You just have to call yourself a name that is associated with a group that does racist things. My parents, they have a lot of books by Dr. James Dobson, who is before he died, he supported a lot of racist, homophobic, sexist, political institutions. If you buy his books, you have them in your house, you teach your kids what these books say, and you recommend them, that makes you whatever it is you're reading. If you read a book, you agree with it, you pay for it, you keep it, and you tell other people and you recommend for other people to read it, that means you're whatever is in the book. If you read a book about homophobia and you see nothing wrong with it, that makes you a homophobe. You don't have to be a raging, violent white person to be a homophobe. Even though that's a pretty accurate stereotype these days. If you support the us versus them mentality, you're creating an environment in America that is going to increase hate crimes, violence, and you're going to be erasing minorities' human rights. No God, no demons, no heaven or hell justifies treating people as inferior. Just because I run into a lot of people who aren't atheists or have extreme religious beliefs or it's just a personal thing, I don't see it as us versus them. As long as Christians are moral people who, when they vote, they don't vote away abortion rights, they care and protect trans and gay people's rights, even though it's not something they approve of or support, they would never take away another person's life, rights, and ability to have good health care. I don't care what they believe. But most people who believe that homosexuality is wrong does not believe they should have equal rights. My family does not believe that gay people and trans people should have equal protection under the law. I believe completely the opposite. And we need, in this country, we need to stop seeing people as us versus them. That's the number one step to dehumanizing people. Second is using them as a scapegoat. 3, focusing all the problems comes from this group. Fourth is arresting them. Fifth is putting them in concentration camps. Sixth is, well, we know what happens next. And seventh is when they're put on a cart, not alive. So if the first step is viewing somebody as us versus them or less than, I mean, there's 7 steps to commit a genocide. We've done the first 5. We don't see them as human. They're the reason everything's going bad. At least that's what they say. They've arrested them. They've put them in concentration camps. The only thing Trump hasn't done is mass genocide. A lot of people have died already, but it's not millions. And that's not to minimize. I'm just saying they haven't done the final solution yet. That is a good thing. We haven't done that yet. I don't think the average American knows the steps toward a Holocaust. That in and of itself is terrifying. Religion creates a mentality that if you're not agreeing with us, you're Satan's tool. And this is a problem. If you only read things that you agree with, you would recommend, books, movies, people, you need to read things that you may or may not agree with. That's basically going to college. If people only read and were exposed to things they agree with and support, you would have a very narrow view of human life and human experiences. I read books and watch movies all the time about religions and political parties and totalitarian regimes I don't agree with. But I'm safer because I know they exist, I know how they work, and I know what they're trying to do, their agenda. If you don't read things about Nazis to understand how they work, you can't recognize a Nazi when they run for U.S. Senate, or in this case, the U.S. presidency. And I grew up in a world where anything that wasn't identical or sterile enough to be considered fundamentalist Christian was forbidden. And this creates isolation. One of the most effective behaviors and tactics that cults, whether religious, secular, or self-help, they isolate. You look up the 21 abusive partner behaviors in domestic violence. Isolation and gaslighting. Gaslighting is when they control how you view the world by doubt or getting you to question who you are. And this is why isolation is so important to religion. Because if they can get you away from other people, if they can limit the knowledge and access you have to facts and medical and scientific research, you're less likely to believe in a system that isn't backed up by the brilliant minds of our century. That's why a lot of Christians fall away from the faith when they go to college. They either weren't taught how to effectively maintain their beliefs in an environment that's very different from theirs, or they came to realize that Christianity can't be proven, that it has a lot of toxic messaging, and that it sets you up for an us versus them mentality. And I always say the most wicked political regimes are dressed up in the politics of God, we love God and country, that God is on our side. We love the nuclear traditional family. I watched a video today on YouTube. The 14 ways fascism rears its ugly head. It's through God, religion, politics, racism, protecting the traditional sometimes homophobic family ideal. And